Hey guys, I have another craft for you today. This one I think is fairly simple. Some things you probably have at the house already. One of the big things is homemade Modge Podge. When I have Modge Podge products, I do not usually go out and buy it. I make my own. And so if you've not done a homemade Modge Podge, here's a quick recipe. It really is a bottle of white school glue. It does not need to be Elmer's glue. It could even be clear glue if you have that at home. Bottles of Elmer's glue, and then water. Now it talks about a mason jar. The reason for that is because you want a jar that has a lid, even better if it has the seal, if you can see the seal in here. So we obviously repurpose jars all the time, and so this is one where it's been something else, that once you make up your Modge Podge, you can put it in a jar with a lid to seal, you can keep using it. Of course, I put on the top with a Sharpie what date I made it or what it actually is. Especially with this type of Modge Podge, because I put some coloring in it and it looks like jelly and jam. I understand that. You want to mark that it's not, or your kids are going to use it on toast. So that's how I make my homemade Modge Podge. Now you could make, if you do a lot of crafting with Modge Podge, you can make a really large jar and keep it in that, and take out little bits at a time if you need to color it. That's all I did for this craft. When I made the Modge Podge, I put in a food dye, food coloring. I used red. Obviously quite a bit of red so I could get it dark. But as you can see in the jar, even this dark, once I use it, it's kind of like a translucent because it's food dye. And so this is the translucent. This is 2 coats. I've just done a foam brush, 2 coats, and it's not very dark. If you like that milky dark color, use paint. Use a white or a pastel paint, something like that. That'll give you a different type. You'll still probably need to be at least 2 or 3 coats. I just like the translucent because what we're making is once you're painting your jars, again, any type of jars you can upcycle at your house, reuse, clean them up, take the labels off. The easiest way, again, is soak them in soapy water to take the label off. The gummy stuff gets stuck. We use acetone, fingernail polish remover. That helps get the label, the sticky stuff off of the jar. Wash it off and let it dry before you use it. So reusing jars. So we have some jars around, different size jars, even canning jars. Let's say you've come across a bunch of canning jars you haven't used anymore. They can be just as well upcycled to another craft. So you can pick up, gather up some jars, cleaned up. They can make up your Modge Podge, put in what color you want. If you want different colors, separate your Modge Podge out and put different colors in it. I like the best is a foam brush. But sometimes brushes matter with the wet techniques if you don't like the streaks or the way the texture it leaves. I used a foam brush. This is 2 coats, still translucent. As you can see, there are beads in it. The purpose is what I've made they're going to be solar lights. And you're like, oh, solar lights, they're so hard. No, not when you can get them at the Dollar Tree. So if you go to the Dollar Tree, this is a solar stake. You can see it look like this. When you buy anything at any store really, but especially the Dollar Tree that has batteries in it, make sure it has this tag in it before you buy it and take it home, because this is keeping your battery life. So once you buy it, you can take that out and it'll start your battery. So you buy a whole stick for $1 and then we take it apart. You can take this one apart several different ways, but I've only taken the bottom out for our use here. Took the bottom off. I'm going to use this top part here. This is the solar part. This is the part where the light shines down. So for this project, I would put it just like this after I have painted my glass. I even put some beads in it. Again, Dollar Tree glass beads, different colors. I put some beads in it. But this, you can put a string of hot glue all the way around here. If you want it fancier, if you know it's not going to be out in the rain, you could put jute twine around the top for decoration. But then, I know it's hard to see on the camera, but it will the light lights up down in there. And it'll reflect through the translucent coloring, even off the beads on your front porch. Not only your front porch, a lot of people are getting ready for camping season. And so that's if you want to use a bigger jar because you need it heavier, you're afraid of the wind. Well, this is a canning jar. This is what we would consider a narrow mouth. Paint up your jar however you want, put sand, beads in the bottom. But if you can see, this fits almost perfect right at the top. So if you line it up and you put a couple beads of hot glue around there, that'll hold it in there. And you will have a homemade solar light. Again, it reflects, it turns in there. You don't have to put anything in it if you don't feel that you need it weighted and you just want the whole thing to shine. Some of the projects that I've watched using this, they did use Modge Podge and they used the glossy. She thought that it made it shinier. I think after being outside for a couple weeks, that I don't know how shiny it really would be. So I'm okay with my homemade Modge Podge, but if you want it to be shiny, you might want to look at the Modge Podge glossy, because that's what they've suggested to use as well. So just different jars that you can use, different ways. Once you buy one, you can go through any jars that you kept to see what it'll fit on, see what colors you want to paint up, and just you make all kinds of different types of solar lights to decorate your patio, your front porch, and even your camping area. I hope you guys enjoy and have fun making something new.